Hello to everyone and welcome to the YouTube channel School for All. So this is tutorial number 26 of our C programming training. So this tutorial, I can say, it's part 2 of arrays in C. So in the first video, which is tutorial number 25, yes, we started arrays. We did everything concerning arrays. When I say everything, I mean by knowing what is an array, types of array, how to represent an array, how to access element of an array, how to initialize an array, and so on and so forth. So this tutorial now is practical, because in the previous tutorial I was just explaining. Now let us practice using the C programming language so that you understand exactly how things work. Now let me just open my software dev C++. Okay, so I create a new file, source file. I save it first. Save as desktop. I have a folder on the desktop. C programming. Okay, let me save it there. So let me call this thing, I don't know, arrays. Let me just call it arrays. Okay. So save as type, choose C source file as usual. I click on save. Now here we can start. Now at the level of arrays, there's no special library that we need. No. So here the library that we are going to use is still this hashtag include stdio.8. Meaning what? For now we are just using what? We are just using input and output library, meaning printf and scanf. For now it's okay. Now the basic structure of a C program: in main, return 0. Perfect. Now, so let us start something. So the idea behind this tutorial is to practice what we did in the previous video. Meaning what? Let me just tell you the problem I want us to solve now. I want us to declare an array taking 5 marks. But the 5 marks, I don't want us to take it from the user. We are going to do another video where I'm showing people how to take something from the user. So the idea of this video is how to declare an array of 5 elements and initialize this array with 5 values, then displays all the values in the array. So this is what we are going to do in this video. Now I'm going to start by saying, since my arrays is supposed to store integers, that is why I'm using what? The data type int. Now I'm calling that array marks. So remember here, this is just the name of a variable, so you can use any name, it depends on you. If you want to use a, there's no problem. Okay, so always precise what? The size of your array. So remember that after doing this thing, what are you creating in memory? In memory you are creating, let me come back here please. In memory you are creating something like this, marks. This is what you are creating in memory. So you are creating an array like this with the name what? With the name marks. And remember that indexes start at 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these 5 elements here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now the idea is, let us initialize this with some values. Let me just say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So let us say these are the marks of a student on 100, for example. So let us do this in the program. So remember, at first the array is empty. Now if you want to initialize, what happens? You come here, next line you will say marks. Make sure you use the exact names as in your declaration. So I'm going to say marks. I precise the size. Marks taking how many elements? 5 elements. Then you open your brace like this and you list the different elements. So 10, 20, 30, 40, and the last element was 50, I think. So you end with your semicolon. So in this case now my array is filled with these numbers. Now the next thing is I want to display these numbers. So how to display the numbers? So a student can do something like this, print f. So let me just go gradually. It's percentage d. I put my /n so that each element should appear on a new line. Then you go out, you put comma, you put the name of the array like this. Mark, the name is what? Marks. Then square bracket. Now if I put 0 here, it simply means that I'm trying to display what? I'm trying to display the first element, which is what? 10. Now if I need to display the second element, I need to do what? To recopy this and paste. Let me just paste it 5 times. Okay, so now this the second element here at position 1, the third element at position 2, the fourth element at position 3, and the fifth element at position 5. If I press Ctrl S, I run this program. There's a mistake somewhere here. Let me just check. Okay, now so here for us to identify the mistake, we need this we need this small window that generally appear under here. We are not having the window, so let me just come here. Remember that if you don't have this small window under, you come at the level of view, you click on floating report window, you click on that, and you just increase the size like this to see the mistake. Now, so this is the error here. What are they saying? They say expected expression before opening brace. Now, let me just check my program. What's the mistake? They are expecting an expression before the opening brace. This is all what they are saying. There's nothing else. Now, what happens here? In max, taking 5 elements and so on. I think everything is okay. So let me just go to the notes and verify if I did a mistake somewhere. Now, normally there's no mistakes, but I think I have an idea of the mistake. Let me just try to do something. I think I have an idea. Let me remove this. Let me remove this and come at the level of the declaration and put it here. Yeah, I think this should solve the problem. If I save it and I execute it again, yes, problem solved. Now let me just explain what happens here. Now, yeah, you need to understand something, that it's not possible to declare an array, then you go to the next line and initialize it using this method where you are opening a brace, then listing elements separated by commas. It's not possible. It's not possible to use this method and initialize the array. But the second method is possible. Remember the other method I showed you. The other method where you declare, then you go to the next line, you say maybe mark of 0 take this value. Then you go to another line, mark of 1 take this, mark of 2 take this. Yes, with that method there's no problem. And in the next video, I'm going to explain why. Why is it that with this first method, you need to declare and initialize at once? And why is it that you cannot declare and initialize after using this particular method? So in the next tutorial, you'll receive all the explanation. So you're saying that these are things that if you don't practice, you'll never see this type of thing. That's why generally sometimes I'm even doing this mistake so that people should see how programming works. In fact, to tell people that you need to practice. It's only when you practice that you will discover things. So take note of things like that. So you're saying that when we are just working theoretically without practicing, I can say something like this, that okay, declare, then come under initialize. You're understanding what happened. But when you do it in programming, you'll be surprised that how is it why is that the thing is not working? Hope you are getting the point. So let me run this back and check. So here I'm having 10, 20, 40. Now here I'm not having 50. Why? Let me check. Okay, I'm understanding. Here the fifth element is at position 4. At position 4. So just change this 5 to 4. Then run it back. You're supposed to have 10, 20, 40, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Very nice. The program is working normally. Now, but I'm having one problem. Imagine that here I initialize 100 elements. Am I going to repeat this printf 100 times? No. So to solve this problem, you're going to use what? A for loop. Now, how is the for loop working here? Try to analyze something. You realize that the only thing that differs between these different printf is what? Is the value in the square bracket. Meaning in the first square bracket you have what? 0. The second square bracket 1. The third 2. So you are seeing that the values in the square bracket is incrementing by 1. So from here you can reason that okay, if I use a variable called I that I initialize maybe to 0, and I put I here, so that when I is 0 is inside the square bracket. When I increment to 1, now it's 1 that is inside the square bracket. When I increment to 2, and so on. I think from there you are seeing now the idea on how while loop, on how the for loop will help us. So let us do so. Let me come here and say in I. Okay. So after doing the in I, I'm just moving here. We say for. You can also use while loop, just like generally we are working with the for loop because it's very easy to manipulate it. So for I starting at, now yeah, I must start at 0. So of course, because the first element is at position 0. So you do what? you do I less than, strictly less than 5. Why strictly less than 5? Because the last index here is what? It's 4. You don't want the last index to be 5. So that's why you put strictly less than, so that I should not read 5. Take note of that. So here I'm going to say I plus plus. So I open this. Okay, let me just close this window. I click on X. Now, at this level, what happened? All this is not necessary. Remove all this printf and just maintain a single printf. So this single printf, put it inside your for loop like this. Let me just put a small space here to make it beautiful. Now, just that here, don't put 0, but you put what? Put I. And it's all. And it's all. You have handled the situation. So here you see, when I is 0, here we are having what? Max of 0. We are displaying that value. And since we are inside a for loop, the program will go back and check, because I here increments 1. So you test, is 1 less than 5? Yes. You enter now. I here is what? It's 1. You are displaying an element at position 1. Then it moves back again. I increments 2. Is 2 less than 5? Yes. You enter again. You print the element at position 2. Until when I move to 4, is 4 less than 5? Yes, you enter, you print the element at position 4, which is the last element. Now, when I move to 5, is 5 less than 5? No, you go out of the loop. So this is how we manipulate arrays using loop. And just know that you'll be using loop each time you are trying to go through all elements of an array. It's always like that. Meaning what? If I ask you to write a program that collects, that declares an array of 10 elements and collect the 10 elements from the user, it's the same procedure. You must use a for loop, because if you don't use a for loop, it simply means that you will do scanf how many times? 10 times. So which is a problem. So to handle this situation, or if you don't do scanf 10 times, you come and do one scanf, and inside the scanf you do %g 10 times, then you have what? 10 variable with the address symbol after. I think you're understanding that part. So to avoid all this thing, we are using what? For loop. So please, what you are supposed to note in this tutorial is, each time you are manipulating an array, use a for loop. Always and always. Like by the moment you think that you need to go through all the elements of an array, use a for loop. So note that, write that somewhere in your notebook, that each time I'm using an array, I must use a for loop. Very important. You can also use a while loop, but note that you are using a for loop, because for loop is very easy with arrays. Now, so this is where we are ending this tutorial. In the next video, we are going to see how to collect integers from users using an array. Very important. And maybe make some operation like sum and things like that, or maybe just collecting, and in another video we'll continue. So we have about 6 or 7 videos only on array stuff. Very important. So if you have enjoyed the video, leave a positive comment. Any question, drop in the comment part also. So see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.